All right, it's a real exciting day today because by the end of the day today, we're going to have a moving, working, programmable robot. It won't be doing everything we want it to do yet, but at least we'll have a start, something that actually moves. We spent all this time soldering our brain board and modifying our motors, and it's not quite as satisfying as actually having something that works. So we're going to need our bag of parts. We'll need the small parts in the small bag that comes with the black motors. That's, let me get my pen here. That's these parts right here. These are in the bag with the black motors. It's a little Ziploc bag. And specifically, we are going to need this screw and this screw, and also this screw, and we'll also need this round horn. All right, this one right here. These others we won't be using, this grommet and some of these plastic parts we won't be using, but you can hang on to those for later. Also, in your blue motor bag, you will find five small black screws and 2 large silver screws. We'll be needing those as well. And of course, your big wheel here you'll need as well. Now, on your wheel, you'll want to put the circular horn. Put the circular horn on your wheel, and you'll kind of feel it snap into place. The middle of that circular horn should fit perfectly in the middle of the wheel. Next, we're going to take some of those black screws there in your blue motor bag and screw those into the wheel through the horn. Now, this should go in pretty easily. If you have a small Phillips screwdriver, just go ahead and screw those in. You don't need to pre-drill any holes or anything like that. The plastic is soft enough where you can screw those in pretty easily. So you're going to put 2 of those black screws in to hold the wheel to the circular horn. Once that's done, and you might as well do it both motors right away, we're going to take that piece of black rubber. That is going to be your tire. That's going to give your wheel some traction. And you need to stretch that around the wheel so it fits real nice like I've got shown here. So it's tricky to get it on there, but once you get it in place, kind of move it around till it's spaced real nice on your wheel. Next, we're going to mount our motors. We need to decide which side of our robot body we want to be the top, because we want the wires to hang out of the top of our robot bodies so it can go to the brain. So I've decided this is the top, and you can see how I've got my motor set into place there with the wire coming out that way. This is a side view of the robot body and the motor. You can see over here I've already got a screw in place, but right here, this really helps a lot. I'm going to draw a little arrow here. This little dot I made with my Phillips screwdriver before I put the screw in. This kind of makes the screw go to the right spot on my robot body. You want it as centered as you can get it. And you're also going to want to make sure that your screw goes in as vertically, as straight as possible when you are screwing it in. So I've got my spot that I marked basically with my Phillips screwdriver by putting a dent into the plastic. Now I want the screw to go in as vertically as possible. So I screw that in, and you can see here you don't want your robot to wind up looking like this. Here I've got the screws that did not go in vertically or in the right spot. Up here you can see that I've not affected the plastic at all, so that's correct. So don't make it look like this. Try your best to make it look like this, and you'll get a good clean mount on your motor. So go ahead and mount both of those motors. That's with the screws that came in the bag with the black motors. The screws kind of have a washer already attached to them. That's your motor attachment screws. Next, we get out the Easter egg. The Easter egg is going to act as a skid plate on our robot, a skid plate. And I cut my Easter egg down to about 3/4 of an inch tall. However you want to do it, and don't worry if you crack the plastic a little bit, it'll still work that way. These particular Easter eggs I got this year are not quite as nice as I've gotten in the past, but they do cut nicely with a scissors, so that's a positive thing. Don't worry if you don't have your Easter egg or your skid plate just perfect. That's all right. We're going to go ahead and mount that to the bottom of our robot. You can see here our wires are not coming through the bottom, they are going through the top of the robot. So I'm using a glue gun here. It's an older glue gun. I like it because it gets the glue really hot and it seems to glue things a little bit better, but whatever hot glue gun you might have will work just fine. And I'm just going to put a couple of dabs of glue on this particular Easter egg skid plate. I might be taking this off a little later as I redesign and redo my robot, so I'm not going to go too crazy with the glue at the moment, so I can cut that off of there real easily. Next, we get out our brain board and our battery box, and you can see on the bottom of my battery box I have installed the hook portion of some Velcro. I've got Velcro at today's workshop. Otherwise, I did not throw Velcro in most of the kits, so if you're working from home, you might have to go get some Velcro also, or you can stop at my shop and I'll fix you up with some Velcro as well. But you're going to want to put the hook side, that's the rough side of the Velcro, on your battery box. And the loop side is going to attach to that. Here I've got the loop side with the protective paper still on the back placed right on top of the hook side. I will remove that paper, and the sticky stuff is going to be underneath the hook material. That's the softer material. And then I go ahead and I place my battery box in place, and this is where I'm putting my battery box for now. And again, you might be changing that, and that's why I say you want to use the hook part, that's the rough part, on your battery box. That will remain on your battery box. You might be changing the loop part, which is the soft part, and I will have a whole bunch of extra of the soft part of Velcro around. So if you decide to change your battery box position or whatever, decide to change the whole robot body, you'll still have that rough part on your battery box which you can reuse. So our battery box is in place. The Velcro is there so we can take it off and change the batteries if we do need to. Now we're going to mark our brain board, or we're going to mount our brain board, and I'm marking that here with my Phillips screwdriver. I'm putting the Phillips screwdriver through two of the holes in your brain board, and you can see I've got it through one of the holes. It's the hole just to the left of the switch. So that's one of the holes we're going to use, and you can see that I marked two holes for the brain board. That's the one you just saw me running the screwdriver through that hole, and then we're going to go with the upper other hole as well and mark that. So we've got two divots in our plastic robot body here that mark the spot where the brain board goes. Now we take those two longer screws that came in our blue motor kit, and also we use one of the orange, what I call standoffs. This keeps the brain board from touching our robot body. That way we won't mess up any of our careful soldering that we did. So we're going to use this standoff to keep the brain board from touching the body, and the silver screw that comes in your blue motor kit, and screw that down through the standoff so everything stays off of the robot body. Last step here, we're going to take those machine type screws. That's the ones without the pointy end. This is a machine screw with the flat end here. It's a real small machine screw. And attach our wheels to our motors. And you should wind up with something like this. And we will have videos and instruction for you on how to program your robot to make it go forward, backwards, sideways, and so forth. So that's what we should wind up with. And congratulations, you've got a working, programmable robot.